All right, all right, all right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello. Greetings from Kiev, Ukraine. It's 2 p.m. on Sunday, and I feel blessed and I feel totally great to be doing what I'm doing. And I wish all of you to do something that you love and can't live without. I'm stepping on the toes of my talk. Let's get back to the top. Let's get back to the beginning. So, our topic today is money, my personal story, and some common logic, common sense about money and why money didn't, for me personally, this is the disclaimer, for me personally, didn't buy happiness. And we're going to break down what does happiness mean, what the purpose of the money in my view. We're going to talk about the alignment between money, the world of money, financial success, and the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of happiness. My name is Sergey. I'm a communication coach, business communication coach from Ukraine. I work predominantly with Ukrainians who need to strengthen, who need to master communication specifically for the business needs, for passing job interviews, for public speaking, for web performances like this, all in English language. I work with individuals and I work with teams. I help customer support departments to create better customer experience for their clients. I help project managers to deal with their American customers and so on and so forth. That's briefly about myself. Now, with regard to today's topic, I want to start off by saying that our motivation, people motivation, to me and from my observations throughout my life, having money and not having money, being a business owner, working with investors, working with customers from the US, being a teacher now, I boil down people's motivation to be one of three things. First, motivation based on money and hedonism, right? Everything that hedonism or money can buy, right? Second one is fame, status, recognition. That's the second motivation. And the third motivation, something that we see a lot among startuppers, among people um, in Silicon Valley, and just creators, is arts. So, money, hedonism. Second one, status, fame. And the last one is arts, creation of something, right? And there are people who are totally fine doing something that they dislike, that's something that they can stand, or that some to the very least something that they're just you know feeling okay about. They're not pumped about it, they're not super excited, but they're just neutral. There are a lot of people who do things like that on a daily basis, but they are paid handsomely, and that makes their day, that makes them feel whatever, happy or fulfilled, whatever measurement is suitable for them. And it is important to understand that aside from these three verticals, three dimensions of intrinsic people motivation, there are also currencies, right? If you can look at what I just said under the different from the different angle, under a different perspective. We can say that money can be reflected in different currencies. The currency of specifically monetary, right? Like some kind of a monetary funds, right? Second currency, the currency of recognition, the currency of fame, right? And the last one is the currency of real human connection. And this is what I attribute to the arts and creation form. Because when you create, when you are doing something in the artistic form, you create connections. So your currency could be one of three things: traditional money, papers that you can, right, buy something for. You can make yourself recognizable and popular. That's a second currency right now, especially in the world, in the era of social media. Recognition and popularity and fame is the form of currency. And the last one is the currency of human connection, otherwise known as trust. The currency of trust. And for me personally, and this is just straight away giving you the answer to the title, to the main topic, why money didn't buy happiness for me personally. Hi. Is because there was a misalignment between something that I thought I wanted and something that really, really fulfilled me. I wanted to, at that point of my life when I earned the money, right? So I earned more than $100,000, 140 in 2019, but it didn't align with my values, right? And I didn't feel, this is the most interesting part, I didn't feel that I deserved the money that I made. Even though I worked hard as a IT entrepreneur, I worked hard as a startupper for 5 years. I still didn't believe and didn't feel like I was worthy, that I actually deserve that cushion, that money that I made. Okay. And that's probably reason number one. The reason number one is that person, especially a young person, a human being that, for example, myself, I come from a really modest family. I come from the family where we didn't have an abundance of things. My dad, like don't come from the affluent, rich family, right? I come from a middle income family, right? At the same time, I didn't see a lot of cash ever in my life. So when I got this cash, my mentality, my psychological state wasn't yet ready for that type of cash. And you know about the lottery winners syndrome. There's like unprecedented number of suicides among lottery winners, because lottery winners don't know, the threat of having a lot of money at once, of getting a lot of cash at once. So the lesson number one here is to get to your fortune one step at a time. Evolve as you like, make sure that your psychological state keeps up with how much money you make, right? And for me personally, it was such a catch, and I didn't think that that would ever be a problem, because everyone wants to get rich, right? But not everyone understand that it could be really, really dangerous, right? Um, yeah. So our we all have a financial capacity, and people unite around ideas. They gather teams not only to speed up how they grow, right? Or bring ideas to life, but they also assemble, you know, like they also grow the financial capacity, because your financial capacity by yourself is limited. When you bring people on board, you all have, like, together you have a combined financial capacity that is much, much bigger than the one that you have yourself. So from the psychological standpoint, it's easier to make a lot of money working with other people. It's easier to not go crazy and not lose your mind when you also gradually make cash, and when you become richer and richer and richer, you know, um, one step at a time. Okay. Now, second one, um, there is such a thing as energy, the exchange of energy, right? And I distinctly remember how I felt when I was riding around the block, riding through the streets of Kiev on my newly bought Infinity that I bought. That was my first car, and for now is the only car that I actually sold already. But that was my only car, and I distinctly remember the feeling of emptiness, the feeling of, some kind of a depression, because I was totally lost. I was driving around Kiev, understanding that I have nothing to do. I have no, I don't bring the value to anyone. And I realized that even though uh, in other in other moments of my life I didn't have money at all, but I did bring value to the people, right? It made me feel so much more wonderful. It made me feel so much more fulfilled and alive. So I think this is the most crucial point of this discussion, is that you have to give as much as you take. And if this balance is in friction, right? If this balance is not is not is not a is the balance is not kept at bay, right? If not, it's not controlled, you are losing the ground under your feet, right? So for me, it was super clear that, you know, I was just spending money. I was just spending cash that I made, and it didn't bring any value. And for example, now I don't have that much cash as I had back in the day when I sold my company, right? But I'm bringing a lot of value. And when I'm bringing value, to me, it's much more rewarding compared to having a bunch of cash and trying to buy this meaning. So the proper word and the most suitable word here is meaning. What 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 adds meaning to your life? And I think a lot of people misunderstand what the money is for. So the money is never the end goal, right? For individual or for a business entity, money is just the fuel. Money is always the fuel to reach your end goal, but it is not an end goal. Imagine your business or yourself being a car, right? So you need the money to fuel up your car. in order to get to your end goal, right? So you need to add money, add fuel to the fire. You need to add gasoline to your car, and then you go. So there's an end goal, could be called as a purpose or your mission or your mantra, whatever you want, you like more. But you have to have something that you aspire to get to. And if it's a materialistic thing, then what, you're gonna buy yourself a car or an apartment, or you're gonna go to have a to have holiday on on an island. What next, right? Unfortunately, when you have materialistic goals, you feel totally devastated and depressed when you get there, because the materialistic goal never fulfills you. So your goal should be something almost unreachable, right? For example, for me right now, I want to enable as many people as I can to represent Ukrainian brand and represent Ukrainian business to the best of their capacity. I want more ambassadors of Ukraine all around the world, and I help business people to really be cool at what they're doing, and I help them doing this, with communication trainings, right? So my goal is to spread this incredible power that we have in Ukraine, in Ukrainian people, and you know, to do that, we have to communicate in English properly. So yeah. By the way, some people ask me about my prices, and this is an interesting point, that when you become an independent consultant, for example, and you drop, and or you combine your work with your or with some freelancing activities, and people ask you how much do you charge. For me personally, it's been an uphill climb, and I'm still struggling to say more than the certain amount of money, right? And I was actually struggling to say even $50. So the hour of work at training, communication training with me, starts with from $50 per hour. And I know that with my experience, with my English knowledge and everything, this is probably even a pretty cheap price. It's not for everyone, but for people who understand the value that I can bring to the table, it's quite clear that I can't take less than that. But I had an internal conversation with myself, and ask myself, why do I feel hesitant to request as much money as I deserve? Because remember, the reciprocity rule, the exchange of the energy, you can't get less than you give. So if I give a lot during my individual classes or during my corporate trainings, and I get not a proper, not a sort of the compensation that I deserve, then I feel awful. Then I feel like I cheated, and I cheated myself, right? So we never ever have to create this misalignment. We never ever should create this friction between how much we give and how much we get, right? A lot of people, maybe they made a great deal and they are earning a lot of money, but they ain't giving as much as they're being paid for. So in my humble opinion, we should always level up, what we give and what we get, right? Okay, moving along, guys. And yeah, and I think that also steps up on this point, that some people, for example, entrepreneurship, some people right now, it's still a hype thing, and people think that if they create a course and sell it, they will make a lot of money. But this positioning and this framing that I'm gonna make a course to make a lot of money is wrong. By definition, it is wrong. We should all start with, what value can I bring? What value can I bring to the world? And if the value that I'm bringing to the world is worthwhile, and it finds its beneficiaries, right, the value that I'm giving, you won't it won't take long for you to start making money on it. Well, I remember I was super altruistic and I was burning out because I was giving too much, and I totally burned out. But uh, or like at some point, you will start charging for your knowledge. You will start charging for your wisdom. So start with giving the value first, and then the money will follow. And remember that cash is designed to help you attain your goals. Cash is not the end goal. So I was pretty much making this classic mistake of thinking that money, when I earned a lot of money, that money would buy me like all this feelings. But it didn't. The money didn't buy me feelings. The money only bought me some uh, temporary emotions, right? So I was kind of um, consuming a lot, not giving away anything, and like pretty much thought that I could buy like joy, and it did happen, but joy didn't bring me to happiness, right? And fulfillment is actually the definition of the word fulfillment is that that's something that you might hate occasionally. For example, you do the job or you work for a company that the values of which fully correlate with yours, right? Fully um, like align with yours. And you know that what you're doing matters to you, and you like people around you, you feel yourself totally energized after like day at work or whatever. But sometimes you have shitty days. So fulfillment doesn't mean being super hyped or being super delighted and satisfied every day. Fulfillment is actually having bad days, but understanding that bad days is a part of the journey, right? Right now, if I compare myself being in a corporate IT world, notwithstanding the fact that I was even like a business owner there, it's still drained. It still took more energy from me that I received of anything else. Right now, I feel like I'm giving a lot of stuff, and I feel uh, actually fulfilled by what I'm doing. And I understand that like some days are not as successful than others, but I understand that this is a part of the journey, and my journey of building my brand, my journey of uh, getting great people on board like you, followers like you, who for some reason want to follow me. For some reason, we click because I communicate the way you like, or I think the way you like, or I present myself the way you like. And that's the best thing about social media, that you can organically, in a natural way, find your tribe, people who like what you're doing. And that's what human species is all about. We find our tribes because as part of the group, as a part of the tribe, we are at our natural best. No one can take it away from us. That's why human being is the king of the animal world, not because we are the strongest, faster, and faster, but because we can work together like none of other species can. Monkeys have limited groups. They can only work at 30 monkeys at a time. Look at us. Some projects take almost thousands or millions of people to work together. So that's the power of human species. And in the same breath, that's why we should join forces and come together to make more money, right? If you want more money and if you have the purpose, to drive you to this promised land in terms of financial freedom. Okay. Next thing that I want to point out, the revelation that I have made is that spending money is much more interesting. I beg your pardon. That making money is far more interesting than making the money. So you always think that you're gonna buy a yacht or a car or whatever, and that's gonna make you feel awesome. But in reality, if you find the really fun way of making money, for example, I found my fun way of making money. I experience so much joy working with my customers. I have an agency where I help experts to develop YouTube, to actually create podcast. So I'm having fun because I pick my customers. I don't work with everyone who wants to work with me. I pick my customers. Same thing applies to my students. I don't work with all the students. I need students who are at least intermediate level, or I need students who want to bring their uh, business communication game to a whole different level. So I have real fun working with these people. So to me, finally, I'm at this place in my life where making money is probably much more interesting than spending them, right? But you can only arrive to this conclusion when you realize that when you tried spending money, if you didn't try and you didn't earn them, you can have this false belief that spending money is more uh, pleasurable. Well, it depends on how you spend it, right? I spend it on hedonism. That's why I felt a hole in my soul after I did that. So I'm not super proud about it, but it just left me like felt handcuffed to I don't know what, to this feeling of emptiness. I was handcuffed to my ego. And when you are so egocentric, the more egocentric you are, that's something you can remember. The more egocentric you are, the more you see cash as an end goal, as a final destination point. So the more egocentric you are, and the more you want to share, the more you want to bring value to the lives of other people, the more you want to help, the more there are chances that you're going to work on teams, and the more there are chances that you will earn more money together by chasing a dream or a purpose that you have set for yourself. I also want to give an interesting lesson about the types of luck. And by the sound of it, the types of uh, money generation opportunities. So there are three types of luck. This comes from the blog of a cool financial um, expert, Nadal. He said there are three types of luck. First type is blind luck. You're just walking in the briefcase with a ton of cash falls on your head, right? A blind luck. You get money for nothing. Second one is a luck derived or coming to you as a result of your expertise, of your profession. So you know a lot, you know how to do things, you have a vast experience and prolific skill set, and then money find people pay you a lot for your skill set and your experience. And the third one is when you don't look for anything, the luck. So the second one is the luck based on your expertise, and the third one is then someone else's luck becomes your luck. For example, a classic example: if you're the best diver in the existence, right? You dive under the water and you can get anything from it. So the person who happens to know the location of the treasures in the Atlantic Ocean will get in touch with you because you are the best in the business. So your reputation precedes you. Your reputation, you know this saying that first you work to attain reputation, then reputation gives you all these benefits. You work for reputation, then reputation works for you. That's exactly the case. The reputation works for you. And the same applies to money. When you become so knowledgeable and so great in what you do, and you translate it to the world, you share it with other people, people start actually remembering you and thinking of you every single time they hear about something. For example, a lot of my students come from recommendations, from the word of mouth, because people who watch my content, for example, you guys, who I'm super thankful for joining, just recommend me to be like one of the best business English tutors that they can find, right? And that's the reputation that precedes me, right? So we are the products of our reputation. And it becomes increasingly difficult. And I told you about this on my podcast on passion. It is incredibly difficult. It's dauntingly. It's super um, super sad sometimes that the older we become, the less opportunities we have to change something, because we have so much experience for example as a lawyer, but we don't want to work as a lawyer. We want to become a singer. And in order to sing, you need to cut loose your previous cut loose your previous experience, or any get rid of any ties with what you've been associated beforehand. And it's difficult to do so. So in order to not feel this as an empty bucket, and in order not to feel yourself as an empty cup, you have to give yourself a chance and find something that you really care about. You can either care about people who you help, or you can care about creating the best product that you help. And if it aligns with your type of motivation, and your motivation can change as you go through life. Remember, I started giving you three types of motivations. But for example, in the beginning, you were solely driven by money. And now, after time flew, for example, 10 years passed by, as it happened in my case. Now I'm not super driven by the money. I want money, but to a healthy extent. I want the money to be great equivalent to the value that I'm giving to the world. So the moment that I become so recognizable and so valued that I can charge $100 per hour, I will charge $100 per hour. You understand? That is something that's super critical to me. And of course, it's a matter of self-esteem, how you value yourself. Some people get there quicker than others, but for me, it is just one step at a time. And yeah, and uh, nonetheless significant thing is that I told you about the types of currencies, and the currency, for example, that is that artists get from what they do is so much different. The currency of okay, fame is one thing, but you also create something. Hello, when you create something, you feel you feel just an amazing feeling, right? And now, right now, I actually work for free, and I help a friend of mine who is a DJ, and I'm into electronic music. I like dancing, as probably you might have seen. And I'm into electronic music, and I really enjoy helping my DJ friend to conquer the world. And he's not paying me anything, but I still feel paid, right? So sometimes you do stuff that you hate to get paid and then hope that this money check or that this crisp dollars that you have on your hand are going to salvage all these sacrifices and all these attempts that you made to get these money, right? All the effort that you put in. Hi, good morning. But a lot of times money just don't compensate for the effort you put in. Yeah. Right now, I don't get it paid anything by my friend, by this DJ, but I just feel so awesome because I get fulfillment from what I'm doing, and I get the currency of trust. I get paid by listening to beautiful, amazing music, and I get paid by having access to something that I truly, truly enjoy. And similarly to that, I think that people can sacrifice their paycheck, or they can get paid less, for example, than they deserve to be paid. But if they work on a splendid team, on really well, consisting of genuine, sincere people, and you feel alive and you feel taken care of, you're surrounded by people who can listen, you're surrounded by people who are not afraid to show their vulnerability, and that you feel like you are valued because you can help. If you are on the team like that, if you're in an environment like that, and you're not getting paid handsomely, I think there is an argument to be made that this is probably a much more beneficial scenario, right? So we all have different currencies. And remember, these currencies can change as we go through our life. In point at one point of our life, we might value crisp dollars, right? But as the time goes by, we might want to give back more, or create something, or be around people who inspire us, or who we are inspired by, right? So that just not nothing is set in stone. Our motivation can change, and the feelings that we get from this world can also change, right? So I think that's the conclusion that I can make. Yeah, happy people are those people who found what they can give in this to this world. Where they can find their perfect place, and where they just they adore their job, adore people who they work with, and on top of that, they're getting paid fairly. I think that just an ultimate uh, happiness, maybe happiness or fulfillment, but that's something that would definitely wanna at least in a once in a lifetime experience. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna wrap things up by saying that there is definitely no like perfect recipe, universal recipe, or universal solution to uh, to 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 get to this feeling of fulfillment. But money, for me, money has been such a dangerous thing that right now I even, I even worry, mm, uh, kind of pumping up my level of life. I can do that. I can actually make more cash right now. I can start selling courses, or I can get more customers. So I'm not investing into customer acquisition. I can do all that, but I know that for me, money is dangerous, and I need to be psychologically ready for the bigger inflow of cash, right? So my first experience with big money was pretty hurtful, traumatic experience, because we were forced by our investors to make more, more, more. And we had some people, I think, go through trauma, go through certain pain, but then they arrive and understand, like, and start making a lot of cash in a shorter period of time. But for me personally, I'm 33 years old, and like, what, I'm making 2 3K per month right now, and I want to get to 10K definitely. But it seems like I intentionally don't do it in a super fast. There are people around me who say, "Hey, dude, you gotta do this to make more cash," because they are driven by cash. This is their value. But I'm not driven by cash. I'm driven by, this healthy balance between what I give and what I get, and I want to feel like $1,000, right? And before I can feel like $1,000 or $1 million, I'm not gonna get this amount of money. Do you follow me? So I want to feel like $10,000 per month, and once I'm there, I'm definitely gonna be paid this. Yeah, not a good time for live streams, Irina. For some reason, don't get a lot of people, or maybe that's because I'm talking in English. But my account is all about English, so I don't entirely understand why people don't stay. Anyway, that was my 2 cents about money. Um, yeah. You got some questions, guys, on YouTube, or Irina? You got some questions? Anything at all? Well, when I talk for too long, I actually feel sore throat or something. As a spokesperson, I need to take care of my throat and whatever. Anyway, guys, if no questions, I'm super grateful for you checking this video. And if you need me for whatever services, you know where to find me. So be be careful with how much you make, how much you spend, how you do it, and remember about the balance. Not to feel stupid, or not to feel as an empty cup. So take care and see you later. Bye.